better on and on. And a remarkable artist too. His work is currently in this room over here to your right, so make sure you see it. And to Anne, I want to thank Anne for all of her work, her collaboration, and putting the show together for the current 3 artists that are here, so thank you very much. My discussion is going to be about Michelangelo and people of his generation, and showing you the difficulty that they had with not only their careers, but also the politics of the day. And the politics of the day was humanism. Things changed. It was no longer the fact that the church was the hierarchy only. People began to think in their own minds about the nature of the brains that they had and what they could accomplish in their lifetime. Not only was it the politics, but the availability of getting their materials that they needed to operate, the problems they had as individuals. And Michelangelo had problems of his own. I want to read a couple quotes that he wrote. One of the things that he talked about was his efforts that he was making in his art career. And this is his quote: "If all people knew how hard I worked to achieve my mastery, it wouldn't seem so wonderful at all." And you can certainly see that when you see people who are in sports, how wonderful they dunk a basketball or skate on a skating rink. It took a lot of effort on his part. He wanted people to know that. It didn't simply come as a gift of God, but with his own efforts as well, combined together, it made a great package. He also said that he was frustrated. Here's his comment about not being a painter. Can you imagine that? Him saying that he's not a painter. So, "You must now defend John." He's referring to a John that he knew. I don't know who John is. "Both my dead painting and my honor. I being in no good place and not a painter." So certainly he has some serious doubts about himself in his beginning. He really was a sculptor, and that's what he wanted to retain. So in fact, one of his first paintings that was commissioned was this one. And he signed his painting below, "Michelangelo, the sculptor." He wanted to be known as a sculptor. He did not want to be known as a painter. And you can see in the volumes of these figures that he's thinking in 3 dimensions. He's not an outline type of a person. He's thinking around the whole body, and everything's muscular. And it's muscular for a reason, because he really knew the human body. He was one of the few people that could actually go into the morgue at that time and dissect the human body. And he did that. He dissected muscles and bones, and you can see how much he learned by looking at these figures. And he accentuated the muscles, as you can see the baby here, the baby Jesus has nice muscles on him, because that was what was below the flesh. He wanted you to know that, how beautiful the body was. Later, when they cleaned the Sistine Chapel, they found that some of the dark areas were removed when they used these chemicals and treatments on it, and washes, which made them think that those dark shadows came on last. So he painted on the plaster and did his washes on the plaster like thin watercolor. Then came back to put more volume into them. When the ceiling was cleaned, those volumetric dark shadows were lost. And it only meant to them that he came back in later on dry plaster and made a volume and created that. When the ceiling was complete,